Even if they're the same level, Pokemon can have very different abilities. A Pokemon raised by a trainer is stronger than one in the wild. Oh my, would that be relevant for today's episode? Hello everybody, it's Red and welcome back to more Pokemon Yellow. Last time, we defeated Lieutenant Surge and obtained the Thunder Badge. This time, we're gonna leave Vermilion City for a little bit. Not too long, but before we do that, of course, I need to manage my inventory, because if you just take a look at my bag here real quick, I have way too many items. So, let's just walk over here to the PC, access Yellow's PC, that's my name, haha, and deposit some stuff. First of all, I'm gonna keep this antidote around. I don't think we're gonna face a lot of poison-type Pokemon, but still, better have it than not need it, than need it or have it. Potions, we can start not caring too much about them, but I'd rather have them in my inventory and use them up as I need them than, you know, need them and don't have them. Hyper Potion, that recovers 200 HP. That is way too much for this point in the game, so goodbye for now. TM44, that is Rest. I don't think I'm ever gonna teach that to anyone in my team, so I'm just gonna deposit it. In case I change my mind, Rest is still there. It is a great move, but I don't know how to use it properly. Max Potion, it restores all your HP. Again, that's more than a Super Potion will do. At this point, it's way too much power. Ether, it restores PP. I don't really need that right now. I don't think I will for a good amount of time. Also, if I start running low on PP, I just prefer to run back to the Pokemon Center. TM08, that contains Body Slam, yes. Body Slam is an incredibly powerful move. It's normal type, it's physical, but I don't know if I want to teach it to Tattle. I need to do some thinking on that. Tattle would gain same type attack bonus, so, you know, that would be really great on an 80 power move, but I don't know, I'll have to run some numbers and figure out if I want to teach it to Tattle or a future team member. So I'm just gonna deposit it for right now. Let's see. Great Ball, I don't really need it for anything, especially because I have 39 Pokeballs. But I'll keep it. Max Ether, that restores all the PP for all the moves. Way too powerful for right now. Rare Candy, I'm just gonna toss it away. Like, no, not toss it away, just keep it in the PC for now. HM01 Cut, Mew already knows Cut. You don't need multiple Pokemon with Cut, you just need one, that's more than enough. TM24 is Thunderbolt. I could teach it to Zoo right now, but, you know, Zoo's gonna learn it naturally, so no point in wasting a TM on him. I might as well save the TM for later in case I want to teach it to another Pokemon that doesn't learn it naturally. Old Rod, that's kind of a useless item. It can only fish up Magikarps at level 5. I don't think I'll be needing it. Also, the SS Ticket, we'll never need it again. Like, the SSN is gone. You can never use the SS Ticket for anything ever again. And you also can't throw it away, so, you know, you have to keep it somewhere. Might as well keep it in the PC where it's not taking up bag inventory. So now we have Repel, Super Potions, Ice Heals, Great Balls, Pokeballs, Potions, Antidotes, and the Bike. Yeah, that's all I want to have for now. I'm just gonna stop by the store real quick. Let me just equip the bike, because that is still faster than walking. Taking the time to equip the bike. It might not have been in this case, but I just want to buy some items. So, real quick, let's see. Ice Heals, I have enough. Awakening, I want a couple of these. Not too many. I'll say 8. I don't know, 8 is just such a good number. Parlous Heal, might as well have a few. There we go. Yeah, I just love calling it Parlous Heal because, you know, character limited. It's kind of funny. I would like to buy some more antidotes, especially because I already have one in my inventory. So, you know, if I buy more, it's not gonna take up any more inventory space. But still, looks like they don't sell it here in Vermilion. So, yeah, can't exactly have it. Now let's hop on the bicycle and leave. Now, the only thing that we can do really is go into Diglett's Cave. Not to be confused with Diglett's Tunnel. That's only in Alola. I'm sorry that I confused it so much before. But yeah, Diglett's Cave right here. The only Pokemon that we can find here in Diglett's Cave is, as you might guess, Dugtrio! Holy God! Oh my gosh! I was gonna do the thing, oh, Diglett's the only Pokemon that you can find with the exception of the 5% Dugtrio, but here it is! Oh my God, I need to catch this guy. It is too rare for me to not catch. Oh, it dug a hole. I don't have any flying types. Wait, I have Butterfree. Butterfree is a flying type, I'm not gonna take any damage. Oh, oh, this is insane. Oh, I don't have any. Okay, let's switch back to Tattle. Oh man. Okay, I need to catch this guy. It is a lot easier to catch the trio than... Oh no, I was gonna try to put it to sleep. It's a lot easier to catch the trio than to evolve a Diglett, so I really want to catch this. Let's try Sing. Oh, it's spamming Sand Attack. I'm not gonna hit Sing. Oh, I hit Sing. Okay. I don't think I can weaken it too much. Its stats are not that great. Yeah, might as well talk about it right now. Diglett is not a good Pokemon. That's like all I have to say. 2, 3. Gotcha! Woo! Sweet! Diglett is not a good Pokemon. That's like all there is to say about it. So, Diglett has only 10 base HP. That is the lowest base HP, I think, to this day. And that's just, even though it has decent defense, like, no, not, I wouldn't call its defense decent. Like, okay, Diglett and Dugtrio are weird Pokemon, because Diglett is kinda really bad, but Dugtrio is kinda okay. It has 80 base attack and 50 base defense, as well as 70 base special, so, you know, it can take a few hits with the exception of its HP. Like, its HP doesn't back up its defenses, and as a ground type, its defenses shine a lot. Because, like, you... I still can't believe I found a Dugtrio. You are going to meet a lot of grass types, you're gonna meet a lot of water types, and of course, you're not gonna send out something that's weak to those. But if you have to do that, then, I mean, you're just gonna lose. You might as well have something that's a little tankier. But Dugtrio can be useful. If you know how to use it, it will be pretty good. 120 base speed, that is among the highest in the entire game. That is literally the 5th highest. Oh boy. Actually, the 3rd highest, if you consider that, you know, 3 of those other 4 Pokemon are tied at 130 base speed. So yeah, Dugtrio is insanely fast as Alakazam. But it's not nearly as powerful because it's a ground type, and ground types are not that great. It does have access to Earthquake and Dig, as you would expect. This is, some people think it's an Earthquake, yeah. Dugtrio is really fast, it gets access to good moves, but I don't know. It's like, its defenses are not great. If you can use it offensively, that is awesome, but there are better offensive Pokemon that are more balanced. They are a lot slower than Dugtrio. As I said, Dugtrio is among the fastest Pokemon in the game, but I wouldn't call it a great Pokemon. If you can use it, it's okay. So I'm gonna name it... I wouldn't call it great, I would just call it okay. That's why I'm gonna name it Hazel. Because of John Green's novel, Hazel Gray's The Fault in Our Stars. Okay, you know, it's just okay. So there. But it can definitely be something if you know how to use it properly. I wouldn't recommend it to beginners because it's not, as I said, a great Pokemon. It is gonna give you a little bit of a hard time. There's Diglett. But yeah, if you know how to use it, it can be great. It also has access to the move. I'm just gonna try to catch this, you know, to boost up my Pokédex count. It can be kinda useful because of the move Fissure at 30% accuracy. Fissure is a move that will deal damage equal to the current HP of your opponent. Do you have any idea what that means? That is instant knockout, yeah. So, doesn't matter how much HP your enemy has. Your name's gonna be Grace, because Hazel and Grace. Doesn't matter how much HP your enemy has. If you hit Fissure, you will knock it out. Unless, of course, your opponent's hidden behind a substitute. In that case, then it's just gonna knock out the substitute. Now I'm just gonna run away. I don't need to fight wild Pokemon. But yeah, thing about Fissure is that if you are slower than the Pokemon you're fighting, then Fissure will always fail. It will never work. So yeah, it's a great thing that Dugtrio can learn. There are only, what, Yeah, there are only 4 Pokemon that would be better than Diglett and Dugtrio at using Fisher, and I don't think any of them can learn Fisher. Yeah. So there, Dugtrio, it can be really useful, but you have to be like, I don't know, you kind of have to build a team around it to, cover for all its weaknesses, defensive weaknesses. It is a great offensive Pokemon, but that's about it. Let's talk to this guy. I went to Rock Tunnel, but it's dark and scary. If a Pokemon's Flash could light it up, yeah. I know what you mean, dude. I know what you mean. And here we are in, Diglett's Cave. This is Route 2. You might remember this place right here. This right here is above the exit to Viridian Forest. Yes. So here in Route 2, there are some stuff that we can do, of course. But I just came back here to go into this house. Let's talk to this guy. A fainted Pokemon can't fight, but it can still use moves like Cut. Okay, no, not this guy. I want to talk to this guy. I'm looking for Clefairy. Want to trade one for my Mr. Mime. Now, there's a lot that I could say about Mr. Mime. I will take this trade, but I don't want to trade Clefairy, my Clefairy Tattle, for this Mr. Mime. I don't plan on using Mr. Mime on my team, so, it is a little bit of a waste to, get rid of Tattles who I spent so much time developing and, nurturing and growing and becoming friends with. So, yeah, I'm just gonna catch another Clefairy over in, I forgot where, Moon Cave, and then trade that for Mr. Mime. When I do that, I'm gonna talk about Mr. Mime. Meanwhile, let's go down in this house. Hello, you. Once a Pokemon learns Flash, you can get through Rock Tunnel. Well, you can actually get through Rock Tunnel without Flash if you know your stuff. You have a map. Hi, remember me? I'm Professor Oak's aide. If you caught 10 kinds of Pokemon, I'm supposed to give you an HM05. So Yellow, have you caught at least 10 kinds of Pokemon? Why, yes, I have. We signed the last episode that I actually had 14 caught Pokemon. At this point, I actually have 16 because of Diglett and Dugtrio, which I just caught. I still can't believe I've actually found and caught Dugtrio. But yeah, I do have more than 10. Great, you have caught 16 kinds of Pokemon. Congratulations, here you go. And we get HM05. Woohoo! HM05 is Flash. In battle, Flash is going to lower the accuracy of your opponent. That's all it does. It's a really bad move in battle, just like Cut. That is why, of course, you have HM Slaves. If you caught a Paras in Mount Moon, it can learn both Flash and Cut. 2 horrible moves in battle, but you kinda need them in order to progress through the game. But because I have, of course, my epic slave, Mew, I'm just gonna teach it to Mew. And of course, as you know, HMs, they don't get used up after you use them, so there. If you go down here, we have an item. What is this? An HP up. Okay, nice. That increases the base HP of a Pokemon. I'm gonna give that to Tattle, because Tattle's a tank. There we go. Now if we check Tattle, yeah, she now has 1 more HP. It might not seem like much, but yeah, it adds up. Down here we have another item. Moonstone, that can be used to evolve Clefairy, Nidoran, male and female, yeah. Nidorino and Nidorina. And that is everything that we can do here in Route 2. Now, if we wanted to, right now, we could either go back to Pewter City through Diglett's Cave, or we could go over to Pewter by using Cut and a couple bushes, and we would be there. So, right now, at this point, you actually have a choice by which way you want to take. What we need to do is go back to Cerulean. The fastest way for me to do that would be to just go back to Vermilion. But because I want a Clefairy, I want to catch another Clefairy so I can get Mr. Mime. Oh, it's actually this way. Then I think I'm actually gonna go through Pewter. Like, I didn't plan this through really well. I just know where I have to go. But yeah, I think I'm actually gonna go through Pewter. So just hack away this, and boom, we're back in this patch of grass and Pewter City. Here we are. Just gonna stop by the Pokemon Center real quick and deposit a couple of items so, my bag isn't completely full. There we go. Just want... yeah. And poison is kinda nasty, so I wanna have a few more. Burn Heal, you still don't have to worry about it too much. At this point, you can start worrying about it, but I'll just handle it some other way. So now, let's hop on our bicycle and go back to Mount Moon. We've already seen this path though, so I'm just gonna cut ahead to it. Mr. Mime! Yeah. Gonna trade Mr. Mime for Mr. Mime. Okay, so lovely thing about repels. Now that I've caught my Clefairy, I don't need to meet that many encounters anymore. So I'm just gonna do. When you have a repel up, any Pokemon that is beneath, like lower level than your first Pokemon, it will just ignore the encounter. This is great, especially if you're backtracking like I am through Mount Moon. Yeah, we're off, but we're already at the exit, so it doesn't matter. Because then you don't have to worry about random encounters at all. And here we're back. You have another chance at getting the Great Ball. Now that we have access to Diglett's cave and, Cut, we can actually come back here anytime we want. We will have to, go all the way around Pewter and Mount Moon and all that stuff. But yeah, there isn't anything really special in that area. So just gonna heal up real quick. Now, I could get Mr. Mime right now, but nah. Too lazy to go back. We'll stop by Pewter. Well, we'll have a really easy way to backtrack later on, so I'll just take advantage of that when the time comes. So now all we have to do is go through this oh, it hopped me off my bike. Hop back on our bike, and in case you don't remember, I just didn't mention it at all. There's this little bush right here blocking the path to Route 9, and now that we have Cut, we can actually cut it down. It's not in our items, it's in our Pokemon. Just remember, the Epic Slave. There we go. Cut. And here we are in Route 9. Now, in Route 9, there are a couple new Pokemon, I think. Nope. Actually, no. Just Rattata, Eradicate, Spearow. Fearow, you can actually find Fearow at 1%. Here, only in Pokemon Yellow. But we also have Ekans, Sandshrew in Red and Blue. And Nidorans. Okay, so nothing new. So, I'm gonna take the time. As we're crossing through Route 9, there are only 2 items, I think. Yes, 2 items. So, there are a few trainers here. Just gonna take my time, fight them, speed it up, and talk about the new Pokemon that we can find in Route 11, as well as Route 10, and the next area. So, let's do it.
You have Pokemon with you! You're mine!
The first new Pokemon that we can talk about is Drowsy, which can be found over in Route 11 to the right of Vermilion City, right by the entrance of Diglett's cave. Drowsy is a really good Pokemon, oh my gosh. So, if you don't want to use Abra because you can't evolve it all the way to Alakazam and you just have that compulsion to like have everything complete, then Drowsy is by far the best second choice to a Psychic type. Like, hands down. Drowsy is just that good, with 90 base special and relatively okay defense, and it actually has some HP that Alakazam and Kadabra don't really have. Drowsy's HP is bigger than Alakazam's. That already says a lot. So Drowsy is definitely a lot tankier than both Kadabra and Alakazam. Now, don't get me wrong, Kadabra and Alakazam are still those amazing glass cannons that are just super fast and super, ridiculously powerful. But Drowsy is a lot more balanced all around. Drowsy is a lot slower, there's no denying, but its tankiness compensates for that relatively low speed. Drowsy's signature move is the combo Hypnosis Dream Eater. That combo is super powerful because Dream Eater is an amazing move. It deals 100 base Psychic type damage, so nothing resists that damage, except of course for other Psychic types. 100 unresistible damage. And the damage Dream Eater deals will actually heal you for half of that amount. So if you deal 180 damage with Dream Eater, you're gonna heal for 90 HP on a tank. That is insanely powerful. However, there's a little catch. Dream Eater will not work on Pokemon that are not sleeping. That's why the combo Hypnosis Dream Eater is so powerful. Not, just the move Dream Eater. And of course, Hypnosis doesn't have the best accuracy in the world, so that combo is dangerous, but if you do manage to get a Pokemon asleep, then, your opponent's sleeping, you're gonna heal everything that you deal, and it's just great overall. Now, if you don't want to use the Hypnosis Dream Eater combo, you are kinda limited because Drowsy doesn't actually learn that many good, special moves. The only special moves it can learn are Psychic type, and the best Psychic type move is Psychic, so you are kinda stuck using that. And its physical attack is not that great, so all those amazing normal type moves kinda do go to waste, because you just don't have that good of an attack. But at level 26, it's gonna evolve into Hypno, a huge increase in its HP, a good increase in its special, and its attack actually becomes pretty decent, as well as its defense, and its speed actually becomes average. So, when you evolve your Drowsy into Hypno, everything that was bad about Drowsy pretty much gets covered, because Hypno is that great. I would call it the master of averages. It doesn't excel at anything, but the things it does are just overall great. There's no arguing with it. Hypno is a really strong and solid Pokemon. By far, the best alternative if you can't use Alakazam and don't want to use Kadabra because it's not fully evolved, even though Kadabra is still that powerful. Or you just think they're too frail. Hypno is a lot tankier than both Kadabra and Alakazam put together, so it's definitely worth it. Drowsy and Hypno are two extremely powerful Pokemon that I highly recommend you at least give it a go, because after Generation 1, Hypno just stops being that good. It just does, like, it's not that useful anymore. So if you're playing Generation 1, please put this guy on your team. Give it a chance to shine, because it will not shine anywhere else in any other game. But for Generation 1, man, it really is that good. Trust me on this one. Is this Talk About Powerhouse Day? Because we have yet another one! Over in Route 10, in only one patch of grass for now, we can also find Machop. Now, Machop, holy smokes! We were just talking about Kadabra and Alakazam. Machop can be seen as a counterpart to those, while Abracadabra and Alakazam are special sweepers. Machop, its evolution Machoke, and its final form Machamp can be seen as physical sweepers. Not because they are fast, but because they just can deal that much damage. They're just that good. With access to powerful moves like Karate Chop, Low Kick, Submission, Seismic Toss, Earthquake, Fissure, not great here because it is a slow Pokemon, but also Dig, and Rock Slide, and Strength, and just great moves all around, as well as Mega Punch, Mega Kick, and Takedown, and Double Edge. It has great moves. Not by level up, you will have to use up some TMs, but it is worth it, because when it evolves at level 28 into Machoke, it just becomes even more powerful. Its stats are not to be messed around with. It has good physical tankiness, not great special tankiness, because, you know, it's a fighter, so, you know, mind over muscle. This Pokemon is pretty much just a muscle with more muscles attached. So its special is not the best, but its defenses are just great. It has amazing HP, and its attack power is just insane. And when you trade it, your friend is gonna receive a Machamp. And boy, oh boy, Machamp is good. Machamp is on the slow side, but it has 130 base attack, with 90 base HP and 80 base defense. Dude, that's too powerful! Like, it doesn't matter that it's slow, it can take a couple hits as long as you don't send it out against like a Psychic type or some other special attacker, like a really strong special attacker. Machamp is still a viable Pokemon. It is extremely powerful, and if you're looking for a fighting type, this just might be your best choice. Of course, if you can evolve it to Machamp. Because unlike Kadabra and Alakazam, the jump from Machoke to Machamp is insanely huge. It matters a lot more than Kadabra to Alakazam. So if you can't evolve it all the way to Machamp, it won't be as worth as, you know, getting a Nebra and keeping it at Kadabra, but if you can evolve it into Machamp, it is so good. I do think Primeape is better than Machoke, but Primeape is definitely not better than Machamp. It is faster, but Machamp is just more versatile. It just has access to great moves with insanely good attack power and relatively good tankiness, so it is a really good choice. Consider it if you're looking for a fighting type. I can't give this guy anything but praise. The next Pokemon that we can find is actually the very first electric type on Pokemon Yellow aside from Pikachu, Magnemite. Now, Magnemite is kind of difficult for me to recommend because it doesn't shine a whole lot. Its base HP is kind of too low, but it does have good defense and good special, but its speed is also not the best, which is kind of uncommon for electric types. It's gonna evolve at level 30 into Magneton. Now, Magneton is better, it does have better HP and definitely better speed, as well as keeping that strong defense and strong special, but I can't say that I recommend this guy too much. I do think Raichu is a better option than Magneton, simply because of its speed. Like, electric types are not meant to be tanky, and Magneton is on the tankier side, because, you know, it's a piece of metal, so it's supposed to be a little more resistant. But electric types are just not that great at tanking stuff. They don't have that many resistances, they don't have one resistance to flying, and of course electric as well. So, you know, they're not the best tank there is, but they are a good tank with few weaknesses if you want to see it that way. It's kind of hard for me to recommend it. When it comes to its offensive properties, it is very usable, but unfortunately its best moves are locked behind TMs. It does get access to Sonic Boom, which always deals 20 damage regardless of defensive properties. It will always deal 20 HP of damage, as well as Supersonic, which always confuses as long as it hits. Magneton and Magnemite don't naturally learn Thunderbolt, which is a big deal, because this means that you have to use Lieutenant Surge's TM on it if you want to have a good electric type move on it. So, you know, it's kind of difficult for me to recommend it because its best moves are locked behind TM, and even then they aren't that many. It does get good normal moves, but that's about it, I suppose. Yeah, you can see, I'm having a hard time talking about Magneton, and that is because it is a weird Pokemon for me to recommend. One important thing to remember is that in Generation 1, the Steel type does not exist yet, so Magneton and Magnemite are pure electric types, meaning that they are even worse tanks than they are supposed to be. And also, it doesn't get the Generation 4 evolution Magnezone, which is extremely powerful. If it had Magnezone here in Generation 1, I would definitely 100% recommend it, but I just can't. Not right now. It can be usable, but it's kind of difficult to fit it into any team you want. You kind of need to open up a proper space for it. So, yeah. Magnemite and Magneton, kinda weird, but definitely okay. if that's what you want to go for. Its special stat is something to be feared. If only it had better HP, then it would actually be a good tank. Not great, not like Graveler or Golem or some other tank, but it would actually be a usable tank if it had better HP. But unfortunately, yeah, no. I would still prefer Raichu over Magneton any day. And if you thought Magnemite and Magneton were weird electric types, wait until you hear about the next one. Voltorb! Now, Voltorb is even weirder, because it's supposed to be fast. And it is fast, it's the fastest Pokemon there is, period. When it turns upside down at level 30 and becomes an Electrode, then it's the fastest Pokemon there is. But unfortunately, that's about it. I mean, it takes up to level 30 for you to get this guy up to speed. And that's kinda hurtful, because it should be good from start, but unfortunately, it isn't. If you do get it to level 30, which is gonna be kinda hard, it's not as easy to level it up as, let's say, a Clefairy, then it will become just kinda good. I was gonna say insane, but no, it's just kinda good. It has 80 base special with 140 speed, which, as I said, it's the fastest Pokemon in the game. Period. No comparison. And it has relatively good special, I suppose. Its attack is poor, so, you know, you are gonna have to rely on special moves. And its defense is kinda okay, and its HP is also very average. So it's basically a really fast Pokemon with average to okay everything else. That's basically what it is. But unfortunately, that's about where the praise stops. Voltorb and Electrode don't learn good moves. They don't even learn electric moves naturally. So if you want to take advantage of same type attack bonus, you are gonna have to use up Lieutenant Surge's TM of Thunderbolt as well as Thunder Wave. I mean, you don't need Thunder Wave because you're already insanely fast, so you're gonna outspeed anything. But if you want to do that for, you know, the chance of paralyzing your opponent for one turn, then I suppose it's good to have Thunder Wave. Its big thing is when it learns the move Self-Destruct. 130 base power, 100% accuracy. You basically sacrifice yourself to deal all that damage, but unfortunately it doesn't have the best attack stats to fully take advantage of that self-destruct, you know, its normal type, so physical. And then it learns Explosion at level 43! Well, Voltorb at level 43, Electrode is gonna be a little bit later. With 170 base damage, of course, also normal type, so, you know, same problem, not that great attack power, but also 100% accuracy, and it does the same thing, just with more damage than self-destruct. It's that simple. Voltorb and Electrode are basically the kamikaze of the team. You throw it out there, set up a light screen, maybe Thunder Wave, maybe put up a substitute, use a couple flashes if you can, lay down a Toxic, deal some cheap damage with Thunderbolt or whatever else you have, maybe Sonic Boom, that always deals 20 damage, and then you go boom. That's what Electrode does, it goes boom. So it is a usable Pokemon, like, it's not bad, but it is really gimmicky. It is very difficult to use it properly. So if you're looking to build like an adventure team, Voltorb is not your best choice because it goes boom. It's a Pokemon that kills itself. That's like all I have to say. It's a Pokemon that kills itself. What else can I say? When you're playing the adventure, you don't want to sacrifice Pokemon just like that. Unless, of course, you're fighting something and you're right next to a Pokemon Center and then you can just heal back up. Or you have enough revives, which is an item that we don't have access to yet. Then you can actually use Electrode and Voltorb to their full potential, but it is going to take items. You are going to have to keep spending revives and potions and maybe even ethers, depending on how many people you're fighting, just to be able to use it perfectly. On competitive, it is a lot more usable, you know, if you're playing versus a friend. But for the adventure, I find it extremely hard to recommend Voltorb. It is better to just go with Raichu or even Magneton. I would say it's better than Electrode, just because it goes boom. It is a Pokemon that sacrifices itself. It has its uses, don't get me wrong, it can be very useful, especially if you build a team that compensates for the fact that at some point in the battle, you are undoubtedly gonna lose one team member. If you build a team around that, then Electrode can be really good. But it's as I said, you have to build a team around it. It takes a lot more planning, and it definitely isn't something feasible for beginners. So, there. Think twice before using Electrode. But if you want to use it, go ahead. You have my blessing. It is not a bad Pokemon. It's just kinda awkward for the adventure. And how many awkward Pokemon in a row are we gonna talk about? Well, we have one more. In Rock Tunnel, the very next dungeon, not in Route 10, in Rock Tunnel, which we're gonna get into in like a couple seconds, we can find the Pokemon Onix. Brock used one back in the beginning, and basically what I have to say about it is that it's weird. Yeah, Onix is a rock ground Pokemon, and it doesn't have good HP, doesn't have good attack, doesn't have good special. Its speed and defense are decent. I mean, its speed is decent, it's average. It's really fast for a rock ground Pokemon, it's the fastest rock ground there is. But for some reason, it just has insanely good defense. What are you gonna do with a defense speed combo? Okay, tell me, what are you gonna do with a defense speed combo? Not that much, that's what. And knowing that it doesn't evolve, it just doesn't get better. Onix is as good as you're gonna get it. When it comes to rock ground Pokemon, Onix would never be my first choice, ever, simply because Golem is a much better Pokemon. Graveler is a much better Pokemon. They are more balanced all around. They are slower, yeah, sure, but, you know, same weaknesses, same advantages, but Graveler actually has usable attack stat, even though it has lower defense and lower speed. However, Onix is not 100% useless. It is extremely tanky with 160 base defense. That is a lot. Basically, if you're using physical moves against an Onix, you are not gonna knock it out. You are not. Well, maybe you are because it doesn't have good HP to, you know, back up that defense. But, hey, it's extremely tanky. That's what I'm trying to say. But of course, if you're using special moves, the Onix is just gonna melt because it has insanely awful HP. It's so bad. Like, I would say it's Diglett level bad HP. Of course, not literally, but, comparatively. It's that bad of an HP stat. So, its defense does get the shaft a little bit. Because, your defense is only as good as the HP you have left. Defense is used to mitigate HP damage, and if you don't have that much HP, how much are you really mitigating? Like, if you had 50 defense and 270 HP, then you would mitigate the damage on that 270 HP. Then if you took, like, 10 damage, that's not a whole lot. But when you only have 100 HP, 10 damage is a lot. It's all about percentages. You are not gonna live through that many hits, even if you have that monster of a defense stat. If you're looking for a physical tank, there is a better one, which I will definitely recommend when the time comes, but for right now we can't actually catch it, so Onix is not the best. If you want to go for a tank, I would say that Geodude is a lot better because it evolves into Graveler, and if you can trade it, it becomes Golem, that beast. But Onix does get access to good moves. Not through level up. I mean, its last move is Harden. Like, Metapod's first move is Onix's last move. Yeah, that's kind of weird. It does get access to Slam and Bind, as well as Earthquake, Dig, Fissure, which is kind of good because it's kind of fast, not the fastest, but kind of fast, as well as Rock Slide, and Explosion and Self-Destruct. Of course, its attack stat is also kinda low, so, it suffers from the same problem as Voltorb and Electrode, but it's there. Like, you can make it go boom, you can make it do its thing, like whittle the Pokemon down with Bind, maybe just use a Toxic, a couple Earthquakes, maybe a Dig or Chew, a Rock Slide, hide behind a Substitute, something like that, and then you can go boom. That's the best thing that I can think of when it comes to Onix. You can make it go boom after, it's done its job. It's just not a great Pokemon. In Generation 2, it does get an evolution, so it does get a lot better, but right now, for Generation 1, it's just not usable. Like, if you want to use it, sure, it can work, because it is iconic. Brock uses an Onix, both in the game and in the anime, so, it's very iconic, but yeah, it's kind of hard to use. It would be the same as having a Pikachu that doesn't evolve. It's really hard to use. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ooh, Thunderbolt, there we go! Yeah, this is the TM that Lucan and Surge gave us. Pikachu learns it at level 26, so yeah. Thunderbolt is basically a better Thundershock. It's that simple. It does have less PP, but the power more than compensates for it. The accuracy, I think it's the same. And it also has a 10% chance of paralysis, so it's there. It's like really good. It's a great move overall. Yeah, I'm gonna override Thundershock because, there's really no point in keeping two electric type moves when they have, like, when they are so similar. Yeah. And Thunderbolt is actually one of the best moves there is, like, among the best. Oh, this is, by the way, Route 10 right now. So this is where you can start fighting Machop. And yeah. In Generations 2 and 4, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually still Route 9, not Route 10. But yeah, in Generations 1 and 3, this is Route 9. And now we're in Route 10. Oh, well, actually, this is Route 10, and this is still Route 10. So there, okay, okay, there, okay. What am I even, oh my gosh. So there, Thunderbolt is one of the best moves there is in the game. Like, it is seriously that good. I'm probably gonna keep this on Pikachu, like, until the end of the game, because it is that good of a move. I sold a useless nugget for $5,000, Poke Dollars. Yeah. I heard that ghosts haunt Lavender Town. Ooh, spooky. The element type of Pokemon make them stronger than some types and weaker than others. Yeah. We know that. So, selling items. Yes, there are some items that don't actually have any use besides, having a high price that you can use to sell. But there is a little bit of a glitch that you can do to multiply items. And this way kind of give yourself unlimited money. So, yeah, I'm just saving up for that. Like, I don't think I'm gonna be abusing it, but yeah, it would be nice to not have to worry about money, especially because money is, like, so hard to come by. By the way, this trainer is completely optional, especially if you just want to cut down those trees, but, too lazy to go to the menu. Let me just fight her real quick. Been to the gym a few times, but I lost each time. Oh, poor you. Then how did you get here without cut? Or maybe she's from Lavender.
Oh, I blew it again.
I'm not even gym leader. Jeez, woman. Let's talk to Pikachu. He's asleep right now. Yeah. And he's still walking. Pikachu's a sleepwalker. Here's a fun myth about sleepwalking. People say that you can't wake up a sleepwalker, but you totally can.
It's actually recommended because the sleepwalker might end up hurting themselves, so, you know, it's better to wake it up and wake them up and make sure that they don't get hurt. They will be a little confused because like, man, I was just in bed, what happened? What am I doing in the kitchen? But yeah, it's better to wake up a sleepwalker than to just let them wander everywhere. So I think there is a hidden item, not here, nope, maybe here, nope, then here, nope, and here, nope, then it must be the other one. I know that there's a hidden item here, no? Maybe it's behind this tree. Just need to remember to actually go to the right menu. Let's see. Yes, on the wall. Super potion. There we go. This is a good item. I'm gonna keep it around just because. Now that we're going into Rock Tunnel, I actually want to have Tattle up front. My team is actually balanced again. Everyone's at level 26. Not that one level makes that much of a difference, but you know, I'm kind of. I don't want to say OCD, but you know, more like compulsive in that sense. But it's not a disorder, it's just like something that I like to do. And here, as you can see, it is completely dark. We have no idea what is going on. And if we just keep walking, we're just gonna stay blind. Here's a Geodude. I'm not gonna fight it. I just don't know why bother. It's a freaking Geodude. And yeah, Rock Tunnel is just a dark place. You have no idea where you're going. This is why you kinda have to defeat Lieutenant Surge first. As I said, you can totally get through this place. Like, you can walk. And if you can walk, you can interact with anything. You can take ladders and you can fight trainers. Like, doesn't really matter. What? Pokemon, fight! Ready, go! What's this? Oh, yeah. See? I ran into a trainer. So yeah, you can still fight trainers. You can still interact with ladders and whatever. But because it's dark, you can't actually see that well. And that is a hindrance. If you don't know the game, like I know plenty of people who can get through this entire game without ever picking up HM05 Flash, because really, you don't actually need it. But I am not that much of an expert here in, not Generation 1, but in Kanto, so I can't actually do that. And I don't like wasting my brain power on memorizing, you know, like the layout of Rock Tunnel. That's not a useful skill for me. I prefer to use my brain power to, I don't know, memorize Pokemon stats, Pokemon moves, something like that. Here's Thunderbolt, boom, one hit knockout against Slowpoke, that is, that's simple. So there. And yeah, people can definitely get through this place without a single, you know, bump. Like, they know their path, they know the best path, but I don't. So, I'm just gonna flash. There we go. And then it becomes a normal cave. With Zubats, because that's what normal caves are. Anyway, this dungeon is a little bit long on the long side, so I'm just gonna speed everything up and talk about something that is actually really important. So, let's do it. Also, there are no items here, I just want to mention that. There are absolutely no items in Rock Tunnel in Generation 1. So today's topic is going to be a little something that huge nerds like me will love. It involves a healthy amount of math, RNG, and it all comes together to give us one of the most interesting aspects of Pokemon, which to my knowledge hadn't been done before it. And that is stats. But Red, stats have always been part of RPGs. That wasn't new to Pokemon at all. Well, I hear you, of course, like that's definitely true, but they have never been done like this, as I said, at least to my knowledge. In every Pokemon game, there is at least one NPC that will tell you something along the lines of each Pokemon is unique, 2 Rattatas are never the same, and there is a lot of truth to that. Why do you ask? Let's just take a look at these 2 level 5 Pikachus that I received at the beginning of the game. Even though they are both the same species, Pikachu, same level, 5, and obtained in the same way, gift from Professor Oak, they have different values for each stat. Some of them are the same, sure, but I guarantee that as the Pikachu levels up, those stats that are equal will very likely change. And why is that, you ask? Well, you see, the number that shows up on the Pokemon summary screen is the result of a combination of a few different variables. Those being, first of all, what species your Pokemon is. Whether we're talking about a Bulbasaur, Hitmonlee, Dragonite, Caterpie, Metapod, Butterfree, or whatever. Species is a huge determinant. Why is that? Because of base stats, those little things that I always talk about whenever we meet a new Pokemon. Each species will be good at doing a certain thing. Some species will have really high HP, Some species will have really high attack, some species will have really high defense, some species will have really high speed, and some species will have really high special. So the species definitely impact your stats. Next variable is the current level of the Pokemon. It's just whether we're talking about a level 5, 9, 37, or 100 Pokemon. Level will also impact your Pokemon stats. The higher the level, the higher the stats. That one I also think it's pretty obvious, but you know, if you've been teaching as long as I have, which is like not long at all, you'd know that the obvious isn't always known by everyone. So, and after those two very obvious details, there are two more values that aren't actually shown by the game ever. I think the first time it happened was maybe in Generation 3 or 4, when we actually got a peek into what one of those numbers was. Today in Generation 7, it's actually a lot easier to know these two hidden values, but since we're talking about Generation 1, I would say that it is pretty much impossible to know accurately these two hidden values. So, normally, we don't have access to them, maybe you can hack the game and find out, and they have just as much impact as the previous two. Well, maybe not as heavily, but they definitely impact just as much. Those two hidden stats are called determinant values and stat experience. Now, it is important to note that in Generation 3, both DVs and Stat XP were reworked into systems that are both easier to understand and control, and they also give you more opportunities to make Pokemon even more unique. Also, because of said rework, both those variables received a new name. DVs became IVs and Stat XP became EVs. If you play Pokemon Go, if you watch Pokemon Go on YouTube, then you probably have heard a lot about IVs. But even though they have different names after Generation 3, they still work the same way they do in their Generations 1 and 2 counterparts, just using different numbers and names. So since we're talking about Generation 1, I'm gonna be using Generation 1 terms. Just remember that you can trace the parallels between the oldest and newest generations. Now, DVs are numbers that the game randomly generates whenever a new Pokemon is created. Pokemon are created when a wild battle starts, or after receiving it as a gift, which is the case for, starters, in-game trades, and, actual gift Pokemon, like Eevee or Lapras that we'll see later on in the game. The DV number can go anywhere from 0 to 15. 0 is a possibility, just like 15. 16? No. Negatives? No. But 0 to 15? Yes. And they can never be changed or manipulated. That was until Generation 7 with Hyper Training. Also, DVs are individual for each stat, so HP will have a randomly generated DV, Attack will have another randomly generated DV, and the same for defense, and the same for special, and the same for speed. And Stat XP is a little number that works a lot like experience. Oh my, it's almost as if they named it accordingly. After you defeat a Pokemon, all of that species-based stats will be added to every Pokemon that fought against it as the Stat XP variable. So, if you fought a Machamp, all the Pokemon that participated and survived the battle will gain 130 points in their attack, Stat XP, as well as 90 HP, 80 defense, 55 speed, and 65 special. All of that to the Stat XP variable. And when you put those four variables together in a neat little formula, you get the number that you can see on the summary screen. It works kinda like Captain Planet if you really wanna stretch it. Base stats! Level! Stat XP! DVs! That's Oxylas Powers Lane! By your powers combined, I am unique Pokemon! Awesome gameplay! It's real neato! Makes the nerds feel like a superhero! So really, that's all you actually need to know when it comes to stat. But of course, you can't expect me, a self-proclaimed super Pokénerd, to just go say, hey guys, this is all you need, see you in 2 months, bye bye. No, of course not. Of course I'm gonna talk and gush about all the math behind it all. I mean, real talk here. Did any of you expect me to not cover the math behind it at all? I mean, how often do you watch the channel? As often as I upload them. So, basically, never, right? Man, if only there was a way to be notified when a new video from the channel goes live, huh? If only there was like something kind of like a big yellow red button just itching to be clicked, or maybe something like a bell waiting to be rung. If only there was something like this. This is that part of the video where I start blabbing about numbers, where they come from, where they go, and what they like to do with each other. So if for any reason at all you don't feel comfortable living near these guys, you can skip ahead to the timestamp on screen, no judgment. I know it's hard to get along with absolutely everyone, you can skip it, I promise, you'll only miss out on the things you presumably dislike. Oh, you're still here? Great! Now that all the uncool people are out of the party,
Let's talk business.
oh man, is this a drug deal? The way to determine the value of a stat is by using a simple formula that takes into account a constant and the variables we talked about before. First, you gotta figure out which stat you're gonna calculate for. HP will use this formula, while the other 4, or for Generation 2, 5 stat, will use this other formula. The difference has to be there in order to have a balanced game. I mean, seriously, try calculating HP by using the other formula. You'll see how broken the game goes if you just use another formula for HP. Like damage you deal will knock out every single Pokemon that you face, maybe even like Chansey or Blissey. So yeah, a different formula for HP, because of balance. And now that you know which stat you're gonna calculate, all you gotta do is plug in the numbers. It is that simple. So level is very self-explanatory. If you're calculating the stat of a level 5 Pokemon, you're gonna put the number 5 where it says level. Duh! Base is also pretty simple. You only need 2 things. 1, the species of the Pokemon, and 2, a website that shows you the base stats for that Pokemon. You can check out the description below for Bulbapedia links. If you're calculating, for example, on Machamp's attack, all you have to do is put the number 130 where it says base. Same goes for any other stat. Don't forget that in Generation 1 you use the stat special, not special attack and special defense. So you gotta look at the little footnote in Bulbapedia in order to find out what the special base is. You with me so far? Good. This is the part where it starts to get not very simple. For the variable IV, we're gonna use those DVs we talked about. Now, without hacking the game or taking our Pokemon through a calculator, there is no way to accurately know its DV for whatever stat you're looking for. Remember that each stat has its own DV, so the number you're using when you're calculating defense will probably not be the same you use to calculate special. DV is a randomly generated number, which its lowest value can be 0 and its highest value can be 15. And the last variable is EV, the Generation 3 equivalent for stat XP. This is by far the worst variable to plug into the equation, because if it's not its maximum value, then it's actual hell to figure out what number to put in. Stat XP is earned every single time you defeat a Pokemon, so that Geodude that just popped up and I used Water Gun to take it down, yeah, that just indicates stat XP value for all my stats. Thankfully, the game only takes into account your stat XP when you level up or deposit a Pokemon to the PC. So unless one of those 2 things happen, the stat XP you used before will not change in the formula. But it is still a pain to keep track of. The only way you can actually know what your current stat XP for a certain stat is if you keep a journal of every gosh darn freaking single Caterpie and Rattata you've defeated since the very beginning of the game. Then all you have to do is add up all of their base stats and you have your current stat XP to plug into the formula. So easy! So let's say for example that on your way to Viridian City from Pallet Town for the very first time, you ran into and defeated a total of 4 Rattatas and 2 Pidgeys with your brand new Professor Oak issued Pikachu. So that is 30 HP times 4 plus 40 HP times 2 if give me 200 HP stat XP. For attack that's 56 times... That's 170 special stat XP! Woo! Ah! That took me like 3 whole minutes just for 6 Pokemon defeated. Yeah, you can see how this would get painful if I were to try and calculate my team's current stat XP, right? Yeah, I've probably defeated anywhere from like 100 to 150 Pokemon so far, and that's because I run away from battles and I use repels from time to time. So when you're calculating something brand new like the first 10 battles, it's not that bad. Like 6 Pokemon, that took me just 3 minutes. But if you wanna scale it up to your current point in the adventure, then yeah. Manually keeping track of stat XP is just too much work for not enough payoff. Remember that we're doing all of this just to find out a little number that the game shows us. But stat XP caps off at 65,535 points. So, if you have killed a total of 656 Mews, all your stat XPs are maxed out. So simple! Also, any item that's considered a vitamin will increase the respective stat XP by 2,560. But vitamins will not work if the current stat XP is 23,040, aka they can't make the stat XP go higher than 25,600. This means that if you have used a vitamin And it works. That one stat has not yet risen above 25,600, just like it happened with my Clefairy earlier this video. And don't forget to take into account the vitamin bonus, so you know, the previous stat XP plus the 2500. Something. And if it doesn't work, then it means that the stat XP is above 23,040. That's one way to gauge stat XP, even though it still doesn't give you a solid number. Now that we know what each variable is and how to gauge it, we can start working with the formula. Let's use Zoo from episode 1 as an example. So we know that his level was 5, it's a Pikachu, and it's brand new, so for all its values, stat XP is 0. The only thing that we don't know is its DVs. So let's use the very average 8, perfectly between 0 and 15, to see how Zoo compares to the average Pikachu. Now, when you run the numbers of a Pikachu with 8 DVs for every stat, you're gonna end up with these values. This is the average Pikachu. I'm gonna put up Zoo's stats right there, side by side, so you can compare. One important thing to remember is that the game ignores decimals, so the actual average is this. And there you have it. That is what a Pikachu with 8 across all DVs has for its stats. So with that, you can see that the first suit that I got was a very average Pikachu. HP was spot on average, attack was 1 point lower, defense was 1 point higher. But speed was actually spot on and special was actually 1 point higher than average. Not that it matters because, you know, after I regard the game, just...
Wait. You have got to be kidding me.
Yeah. That's not all. By using the very same formula, we can actually find out Zoo's actual DVs. But instead of calculating them by hand, I'm just gonna plug this awesome website that calculates DVs for you. Boom, easy. Thanks, website developer. A couple things about the website is that, first of all, it's for Generation 2, not Generation 1, so calculating a special DV can be a bit of a pain for reasons that will be explained when we get to Generation 2. But if you want to find out what that is, I'm gonna leave the Bulbapedia link down below, and then you can, you know, just look it up. And second, you can see that the website doesn't actually give you a perfect match for DVs, and that is because any one of those DV values that the website gave me will result in the same final stat. Don't believe me, do the math yourself, just plug the numbers in and follow the formula. So the only thing this website can do is give you a range of DVs. Zoo's lowest possible DV is this one, and its highest possible DV is this one, but the actual number can be anything in between. How will you find out? Level up. If your Pokemon is higher level, then the calculator will be a lot more precise. But it only has a setting for 0 stat XP or max stat XP, because it's a pain to track stat XP. So if your Pokemon is neither of those, then it will be pretty hard to calculate precisely what your DVs are. But alas, it's a tool that you can use if you so desire. Now, another really interesting thing about the calculator, not, you know, stats in general, is that if you plug a Pokemon's actual stats into the formula with 0 stat XP, you know, using DV as the value you want to find, then you're not actually gonna get the number you want. You're not actually gonna get a proper DV. When I plugged in Zeus episode 1 numbers, the result I got was -30. And I actually wrote the formula on an online equation solver, because yes, high schoolers, those exist. And wouldn't you know it, same result. So this leads me to believe that the calculator runs every single one of the 16 from 0 to 15 possible DVs and tells you which ones result in the same stat your Pokemon has instead of the expected solve for IV. And when you think about it, it makes even more sense when you speak of coding about such a specific calculator. So, you know, before you judge the developer of the website, just, you know, do a little thinking and you'll see why they don't give you an option to put in the precise stat XPs. But, you know, modern calculators for the modern generations, it's a lot easier to keep track of what stat XP became, you know, EVs. So current calculators actually allow you to put in the EVs. And that about sums up the math. Now, what is that all used for? Well, for that we would have to get into damage calculation. And I would rather not make this video over an hour long. So there, I'm just gonna cut it off here, and maybe next time we'll actually talk about damage calculation and the impact of all of these things that we just talked about. For now, take this as just, you know, a pre-game for what's about to come. And if you looked at the math, not necessary of course, but if you did, you're gonna see that DVs and stat XP are pretty important. They are not the most important thing, of course. A Machamp will always have a higher attack stat than an Alakazam. That's just how the species work. Species matter a lot more than DV and stat XP, simply because of their placement in the formula. But still, if you have 0 DVs and 0 stat XP, then your stat will be a lot lower than if you had 15 DV and max stat XP. So, you know, like, it may not look like much, but it actually does matter a healthy amount. So if you really want to get the very best Pokemon you can possibly get, then you need to do some trial and error until you can get the proper DVs, and then you can start leveling up those stat XPs. I'll talk a little more about it when we start talking about competitive battling, but yeah, for now, just remember, your Pokemon may not be the very best Pokemon that there is, but it may also not be the worst. So just love it regardless, because if you want to find out, you're gonna get a headache. And by the way, Rock Tunnel was so painful, like it was so painful, so don't be surprised by my reaction when I get out of it. Just, oh my gosh, I surprised myself during editing. That's all I have to say.
Ah, we're out! We're out! Oh my gosh, we're out. That was painful. How long did that take? I think that literally took like 40 minutes to get through Rock Tunnel. Holy smokes, I'm feeling a bit faint from this tough hike. Tell me about it. What? You're a trainer! Oh my gosh! No, stop! Stop! Please stop! Please stop! Here comes a PG. And that was so useless. That is 6 useless critical hits in one. Oh, Pidgeotto. And you're out. I'm not up to it. You're really not. And I got 420. Blaze it. The Pokemon here are so chunky. There should be a pink one with a floral pattern. Oh my gosh! She's talking about Muna. She really is. Oh, you're also a trainer. Oh my. When would this stop? Laughing at my misery. Some nice water. Level 30. I knew you'd hit level 30. Jeez, Tattle. Not laughing. Hey, fever. What? 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 How? He has a flu. That was actually kind of funny. Oh. That was actually kind of funny. Like, jeez. Is there anything? Yeah, Max Ether. Okay. Weird out of place tree. Oh, I think there's another trainer down here. Yep. I'm gonna fight you. Hey kid, wanna see my Pokemon? Not really. Not really, but it's just been so long. That was useless. That's 7 useless critical hits in one video. Level 29, okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Defeated another Pokemaniac, okay. Oh no, my Pokemon, okay. And, oh, you're also a trainer. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just gonna leave you behind. And, ladies and gentlemen, it's been long, it's been tough, but we're here. Welcome to Lavender Town! Hang on, let me hop off the bike. This is not a proper introduction. Let me just hop back out, hop off the bike, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lavender Town. Yeah. I like the lavender theme a lot. I mean, it's... I'll talk about it next time. This video has been going on for far too long. I hope you've learned some good stuff. I mean, stats are, as I said, like, really interesting to talk about. They're not necessary, but I think they're really interesting. But, hey. I suppose we'll end the video right here. So, next time on Pokemon Generations, we're gonna explore Lavender Town and see what else we have to do here. So thank you guys for watching this one, and I'll meet you on the next one. Goodbye. Still the same emotion? Geez, Pikachu.